work.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another game of the Royal Arena Group B group stages. This is game number 2 of ProDotA versus Question Mark. We saw Question Mark finally take a win after a 60-something minute game. I'm Android, being joined once again by Motpax. How you doing, man?
I am just ready for more Dota. How can't you
Oh,
be after
baby.
that? Right? No, that was certainly an interesting game. Despite all 4 picks being used, no drow in sight. Be interesting to see if one of these two teams want to get rid of it. Wouldn't be too shocked to see Question Mark ban it, honestly, just because they already have Io Slardar over on the side of Pro Dota, and going to a draft strat from there is still super scary. Likewise, I suppose Question Mark could take it for themselves with Miranda Shadow Demon. Nothing to scoff at, but the IO synergy with like the saving and whatnot, and the boosted attack speed is pretty spooky. I'm digging the Sand King ban as well. I think Question Mark just trying to open up their offlane options, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these new heroes picked up. I mean, not necessarily new, but iOS Lardar, I'm liking this. I think ProDotA can get a lot of use out of that. Now, what does Garter play that loves an IO? Does he a tiny boy?
Clearly, according to Question Mark,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
that is for certain. I don't want to see that thing. Can't really blame them. I think you just get rid of like the absolute best ones. Ursa would be another one that maybe you don't ban out now, but it's gonna, if you don't ban out the Ursa, like, then, well, Timbersaw actually just got banned, but he's pretty much the prime example of someone who, like, if Question Mark were to like pick up a Timbersaw next pick, then you might see it picked up by ProDotA, the Ursa in response or something along those lines. So we'll see. Alchemist is still in the pool too, which is someone to be considering, especially with Penguin Check in the game.
Oh,
Guy
yeah.
who ran that quite a bit on Danish Bears.
He loves his Alk. And with the IO, I mean, we could see that, typical, position 5 absolute babysitter IO that never
Yeah.
untethers from the position 1. Or we could see that kind of position 4 roaming IO that's just wherever he needs to be. And he kind of acts almost like Pit Lord in terms of the teleport. Like, he'll teleport whoever needs to get into the fight. It doesn't really have to be that position 1 all the time. But I mean, my personal favorite, I love the Illidan CK Wisp combo, so maybe we'll get treated to that with Pro Dota and see Garter pick it up, but it's not as popular as, the Tiny or the Ursa or even the Drow Ranger I've seen with the IO a couple of times.
There's some heroes that it's so good against, though. Like, if you spot a team that doesn't have good illusion clear, and someone like a Storm Spirit or someone who you just, if you can hold on to them for a second, they're just dead. Those heroes that like to be elusive, even someone like a PA can just get absolutely destroyed by a CK. So if you see one of those heroes come up for Question Mark, it certainly could be an option. We're kind of in that region, right? We're in Europe, at least it's close to our old CIS brethren, so maybe they'll take some hints here.
Yeah, there's CIS games going on right now. I think there's Dota Pit quals happening in the CIS
Oh, yeah.
region, but I mean, we got some good old EU here. Pro Dota sticking it out. They're going for their 3rd pick. I mean,
Disruptor.
all right, I was going to say they should grab up a secondary support here, and they are going to do so. Wisp Disruptor as the support duo. These guys are squishy.
Yeah, they do deny out the Disruptor from the side of Question Mark. I mean, it'd be kind of interesting with Shadow Demon as well, but it's a pretty classic hero up against the IO +1, generally considered the best. He works really well with Slardar because you have the tracking vision from the amplified damage as well as the big reach from Slardar too, so he can just like sprint up ahead to get vision on someone, and then you just glimpse them right back for easy team kills and chase.
Spirit.
What is our Storm Spirit for Pro Dota? Now,
Drow,
is interesting.
Drow.
It's pretty good here, right? Because it's going to help that Storm Spirit in the mid lane. I assume it'll just get banned.
No.
The other thing is they have an Axe lineup, though. So, if they want, they could leave the Drow in.
5 seconds remaining.
Be interesting.
Yeah, I
ProDotA do have that last pick.
I'm thinking they're going for the Drow just because the win rate of Storm Spirit is, I want to say, like almost doubled if there's a Drow on his team, because it helps that pre-level 6 really flimsy window where he doesn't have good escape, he doesn't have good farming tools. So we'll see what they're able to do here. But again, like you mentioned, Question Mark might just say, all right, you pick your Drow, we'll just start countering it. They've got the Axe, they've got the Shadow Demon, they've got that Mirana Leap Arrow, because the way to counter a Drow is just gap close. Just get up on her. Drow wants to be the sentry turret at the back of the fights, just standing there, whipping out the damage. If you make it so she has to fight you one-on-one and you're able to return that damage to her, well, that's how you beat a Drow Ranger.
I wonder if they're considering Elder Titan right now. For kind of the same reasoning. There will be an internal debate though of like, do we have enough control to support someone like an Elder Titan? Because he's really strong against lineups that want to come up against you earlier on in the game. He has good AoE against IO +1. He's really nice with Axe too to combo up. But the problems you're going to run into is that's one less like Hex or something, like as opposed to someone like a Lion, if you picked him up right now, for that Storm Spirit to get that guaranteed control. So it's kind of like a tough window here. It's one of those easy execution things. And then they're still missing their position 1. Do they want to think about a Anti-Mage?
Oh.
Interesting. So despite having the option to ban it out, they actually still want it for themselves.
I like
So that's
this.
going to mean Mirana now dumps their Storm Spirit in the mid lane.
Yeah, Storm Spirit
that's
is really
good.
going to have to watch his back. I think he's going to have to either
He's
keep
gonna need
the
an
IO
IO,
or the
yeah.
Disruptor there at all times because, again, the way to shut down a Storm Spirit is to just fuck him up pre-level 5 or pre-level 6.
Yeah, and then the like first 2 or 3 fights right after that are so crucial. Where like Storm Spirit gets like 3 kills or something, he's suddenly right back in the game. Even if you don't win the fight, as long as Storm Spirit doesn't get all the kills, then you're still feeling okay about it. But we've seen so many games where Storm has like 5 deaths before level 6, and then he just completely comes back in from 1 engagement. So question mark, shorter cooldowns are going to help with that, which is nice with someone like an Axe. They'll have their final pick. They could do position 4 Axe. We've seen it now and again. Dire Side is pretty nice for it. You know there's not a lot of pressure coming out. No real roaming supports, just Disruptor IO.
I don't
So
know.
that is actually an option.
I'm so partial to that offlane Axe. I just love watching him just whip him up, and it looks like it will be that offlane Axe or jungling, depending on if they sack the offlane or not. But Ogre Magi as a lane support for that Drow Ranger, I'm liking this. I'm liking what Question Mark are doing. I really like that, cockiness, not necessarily arrogance, but just to say, all right, ProDotA, you had your chance with Drow. You didn't do the things. We're going to do the things.
So last pick, lacking AoE control and AoE. I mean, they kind of have AoE damage from the Mirana, but a lot of their stuff is single target.
Oh, okay.
And there's our Bear, so our IO Ursa. So what else was left in the pool? Sven was still there, right?
Mhm.
So that was a potential option for them, but his timing's a little bit later and would have synced up with like a Storm Spirit, whereas this Ursa's going to be a lot more active early on. Gives them
Alchemist
some
was
hopes
still
of
in.
taking Roche. Yep, Alchemist was still in. That's also true. Then you have like Safe Lane Storm, but that's not
It's
the worst thing.
if you give Ping as Alchemist, that's pretty much back to square one. I mean, that's just great. But we're going to have Garter and Come With Me just tethered up and walking away. There's going to be TPs down to this bottom lane, so we'll see what our Disruptor wants to do. He's got his Observers and Sentries, so probably just going to go try to place him up, get that decent vision. I mean, Question Mark, they've got a pretty ferocious, pretty tanky, relatively early fighting lineup. What does ProDotA have to do to deal with this? Do you have to just farm up your Ursa, get an early Aegis, and fight mid-game, or do you just wait till your Storm Spirit does good things late game? I mean, what's the best way to deal with Question Mark?
Well, right now, yeah, I think Question Mark know that they need some good lanes to start out here, so they're going for one quick kill, trying to put them down.
Oh, their smoke's gonna pop. They see that Wisp, but they're not actually able to get on top of him. Drow Ranger does not want to skill up Gust first. Definitely not something you want to do. So they're just going to go and wrap themselves towards this rune. They do leave a nice little ward here along the way, so they will see any sort of jungle movement coming out from ProDotA.
Especially the IO rotations. That's like
Yeah.
the most important thing. You'll always see this ward
And you can
up against the Radiant side IO.
you can see if Storm Spirit bails out a lane to go farm up this middle camp.
Yeah, also true. Another great reason to pick Storm on the Radiant side, too.
Mm-hmm.
So things looking pretty good for Question Marks.
What is this
they have
Mirana
good
mount?
heroes to rotate into.
It's like Abaddon.
Oh, yeah.
All
Like
right.
oh, man, that is baller.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna get that. Okay, we've got Disruptor trying to do his best. Mirana not gonna be able to get the rune. Slardar actually snaps it up. Axe is able to get down bottom, but looks like Slardar may have bitten off more than he can chew. They don't have the disruption, but even the IO, I don't know if you can actually save everything here. Ogre got slowed up by that tether. Does not have that Fire Blast for another second. Is he gonna be in range here? No! That's gonna be Kefka just getting out by the skin of his teeth. Nice little work there from the IO, otherwise that Slardar would have surely been dead.
Yep, great positioning from Kefka, too. Just kind of keeping it so the AoE of the Crush was always going to catch Ogre as he tried to like lurch on the side and get off one last stun. So, well played there. Okay, so this Ursa pick. Ursa is a very fantastic hero right now for this reason exactly. He is like the only carry that can zone out any offlaner in the current patch. He can zone out Faceless Void. He can zone out Axe. He does it all. And now, Question Mark have the benefit of it being a hero that's really nice for jungling, so it's not going to be too big of an issue. And they are bringing down the Ogre as well.
I mean,
So we'll see if
Garter
that's
has no
beefy
issues
enough.
with this. He's just gonna start smacking him.
Yeah. early on Ogre offering not too much other than his right click. Obviously, that doesn't help very much against an Ursa.
I mean, other than him just being up and being that damage sponge, because again, like we talked about, with that casual Mango, he's 5.2 regen per second at level 1. That's dumb. That is Tango level regen.
And they also do successfully get off this pull, so that's pretty huge.
Mm-hmm.
They've now blocked it off. Actually, that's interesting. I guess because... I don't know. I'd almost think that you'd want to keep this pull as question mark. But
A way to contest farm, especially with the axe.
yeah, you would think they would just walk in and fight it, but they're not down with it. They don't want there. That kind of hints that Emperor's going to rotate out.
Oh, bottom lane here. Garter's going to get stunned up. Can Pwn spin? Looks like Pwn not going to get caught up in that kinetic field, but he may actually have to run back. The the Thunderstrike did a decent amount of work, and Garter now salving up. There's going to be salves on either side as Axe looks to bring himself back up to a pretty juicy HP. And now, all right, this is getting tense here. Disruptor Sandwich coming back in. There's going to be a Disruptor popping in another kinetic field, but the stun to keep him in place. The Axe gets a call, and there should be first blood. One more swipe of Pwn's Axe means that that's going to be a decent amount of gold going to our Axe at just 2.5 minutes into the game. Now up top, we've got a little bit of a deep dive, some would consider, as Wisp is going to be killed under the tower. This tree there blocking the way out. So nice little handiwork by our whoever put down that Iron Branch. I want to say it was Shadow Demon, just to keep everyone stuck behind the tower. Garter down bottom is going to get called in. Pwn looking to make it a double. Nice spins from him, but the IO comes in just in time. Now Pwn's in trouble. What?
Come on, bruh. You got bottle. Just wait like 2 seconds.
All right. So a little bit of over-aggression there cost the Ursa his life, and now come with me. Maybe he came a little bit too deeply there, taking some tower shots. Oh god, he's low. But looks like Ogre's not actually able to spray out that ignite. Some mana problems from him, but Arcane Boots not too far off, especially if he continues up the kill score like this.
Garter clearly not praying to Iron Jesus this morning. I mean, it was super aggressive. It's definitely a little bit unlucky, you could say, because I think he was the only one attacking. I didn't think a creep was hitting the axe, so kind of shitty, but what can you do? They do get the comeback kill here. And this is kind of cool for Disruptor, right? A hero that, I don't know, he was like super up there, and then now he's just kind of like mid-tier right now. He's fallen off a little bit. We used to see him a ton back when Darkseer was being played more often. He's one of the best supports up against a solo off-lane Darkseer, but he also super struggles against dual lanes. He's kind of like Lion, pretty god-awful whenever there's two heroes in his lane. So that's when you'd see Darkseer get his little buddy like a Spearbreaker or his Night Stalker or something like that. So
God,
similar scenario here.
Don't
trigger
me,
exactly. It's the same idea here with an Axe and an Ogre Magi. Just bringing that pressure down, it really negates what the Disruptor can actually do.
Come with me. A little bit ambitious movement there towards the rune, but let's talk a bit more about the mid and how it's farming, because we talked about how Mirana should be able to dumpster the Storm Spirit, but well, it's in terms of kill score maybe, but creep score not so much. Storm Spirit's doing really, really well for himself, just static remnanting up a ton of creeps.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of help from the IO at first, but of course now he's left. The Mirana just makes a little rotation to actually kill said IO, so nicely played there.
Now this huge weakness here, Storm, of course, is super vulnerable pre-level 6, but take a look at that. He's only got
bottom lane.
10th to go until he's already up at that Ball Lightning stage. Now Pwn, again, just trying to go in, trying to be that pig boy bruiser, but even Moonlight Shadow cannot help you now. They got Sentry Wards, again, Disruptor keeping up the vision, doing really, really well here. And this camp is, will it stack? The ward goes down and looks like, unfortunately, not going to get the stack off this time, but next time should be good.
Yeah, that was close. Thought they were going to get it.
Yeah, Garter doing really, really well here. They're going in for the Ogre Magi. They're not able to get a glimpse off or anything, and now Pwn coming back in. There's going to be a stun. Initiating onto Garter. Cancels the call. Does he go in for just the Ursa here? That is an ambitious play, trying to get the Ursa to man-fight you one-on-one, but of course the extra armor does help. Either way, bottom lane is just really where it's all going down. Mid, yeah, there's some good farm, a little bit of harass trading. Up top, it's been real quiet. Slardar just doing Slardar things, picking up a decent amount of last hits. Now there's going to be that Gus coming back in. He's going to just try to straight TP out. They know they used everything that can possibly cancel that TP, which is just disruption at this point.
Things are starting to heat up a little bit here. I wonder how much of this Pingvin's gold is in neutrals. I don't think any of it. Maybe one camp, perhaps. He's got one stack going right now at this point. So either way, Murana's just kind of pushing the wave into him.
Oh,
Gets
God.
himself the rune.
Ogre eats it again. He wanted to go for that rune, but again, just a little bit too ambitious. So that's going to be Ogre's second death of the game. It's just a very bloody bot lane now. Over here, Ping Vinsec going to get chopped down under his own tower. Very long-range arrow connected, allowing Arise to go leap forward. And Storm Spirit was not able to ball lightning away, so even after
That's
he takes
huge.
over to level 6, yeah, he's not able to actually get that huge lane advantage.
What a player. That's crazy you get that kill post level 6. It's Murana.
I mean,
So
the
really
long-range
well done.
arrow helped. It was pretty much maximum stun duration.
Now, with the phase boots up on the Ursa, they have rightfully left the lane. So this means Io and Disruptor are free to go do whatever they want. Io probably needing some more levels. Again, yeah, this whole poverty Io thing has become more popular, but still only
Poverty
level
Io.
4. It's kind of what it's been, though, you know? Like, you don't get that kind of, like, team priority anymore. Ooh, that's a sneaky ward.
Which
A nice one that... Oh, just placed up top here now by MDL. It's unlikely to get dewarded. Keep an eye on what Kefka's up to. See his rotations.
He's going to be just squirming around here. He's still sitting on that mango, so he can just keep crushing stuff up. He picked up the Tranquils, but again, farm isn't ideal. He's still sitting down there with the supports. Our Storm Spirit's net worth is not the best. Again, a lot of that is early game death. Now he's going to be ball lightning forward, but the Moonlight Shadow coming back in, even with the glimpse. Oh, again, there's the sentry. Amazing work here from this Disruptor. That's 2 times he's put down a sentry ward just in time to secure a kill under Moonlight Shadow. Up top, our Slardar. He's going deep. He's looking for the axe. Will he be able to get the amp damage? He is able to get vision up now. There's going to be a disrupt here. Pone should be able to get alive. They're bringing in the Disruptor. Now, a sprint is going to be up from our Slardar in just a little bit, but he stops and just...
Oh, he stole the creep.
All
MDL
right.
God.
All right.
What a player.
Calm it down.
I can't believe Pone stayed farming that camp because maybe the Shadow Demon probably didn't have vision of the Slardar, even though he was invis. I'm gonna assume that's what it was because he stayed like way too close, just because like that night vision or whatever is pretty deceptive.
All right, so
By the way.
Arise continuing to farm up. Top of the net worth chart here. Marana's got the Aquila, got almost 1,000 gold. So, are we gonna see a stepping stone in between the Aquila? Do we see full treads before point booster? Or are we just going straight Agnum Scepter?
No, let's go. Let's just get
Let's
eggs.
go straight eggs.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Who needs other items, honestly?
I mean,
Sure, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Salves are for weak bitches. Now Arrow's gonna come in. Will it connect
Oh
onto our
my lord.
Slardar? Hello. Now they bring in the frost arrows here, and there's just nothing Kefka can do. That's another almost max range arrow, courtesy of some great wards, some great rotations. This is fun. 4 question mark right now.
That's such a feel-good arrow.
That's like
It's the
one of those,
kind where
like,
you just
you
saw
know it's
drawn
going to
up.
connect, but it's just,
Yeah.
you get the goosebumps, you get the tingles. Again, perfectly timed with that disruption. Arise can play a Marana. Good God.
He's already hit more arrows than tornadoes.
That's the most backhanded thing I think you've ever said in your life.
I mean, it's I think
It's not
probably
inaccurate, but it's also kind of rude. All right, I like it. You got spunk. Let's see. Tower going to be going down. Drow Ranger off to a good start. Already 4 points in that precision aura. She's picked herself up a little windlays here. She's got phase boots on the Drow Ranger, so she's moving quickly. Our mid lane. Oh, God, another
That's
arrow
nice.
onto Kefka. There's nothing he can do. He's going to get stunned up as well. But they got to watch out for the Storm Spirit because he's still got a decent mana pool rocking. So
That was
like-
actually intentional. He meant to eat that, or else Penguin was gonna get arrowed, and he would have died for sure.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just more that, wow, Marana's really on a roll here. She's doing well. Drow
God
Ranger
tier.
and Marana keeping up. Top of the net worth chart. It is still close. Top 5 cores are definitely giving everyone a run for their money.
Meanwhile, in bottom lane,
Nah, now we got to talk mid. Necroman just sitting back. Drow Ranger's now rotated in, going for the early Dragonlance. So gonna switch things up. Last game we saw the Drow Ranger forced into going for the 4 staff, but this game you should be content. Just that classic build up, just grabbing the phase boots, got the Aquila, and now going in for that extra bit of stats.
oh, they scanned. They thought Ursa was heading in because he left bottom a little while ago. So they scanned the Storm Spirit at the rune, but find out that Ursa's not actually in there. So again, that being a little bit of a wasted Moonlight Shadow.
I like your doodles.
The only way I can properly articulate. Anyway, Pone is ready. It is a 10-minute blink dagger. This is probably like it's around the right timing, so they might expect it, but it's pretty good. Ooh, now they are smoking. Are they going in?
This could be good. They might be able to find out the Shadow Demon, but We'll see what their pathing's going to be.
They
It
are
looks
taking
like
the long way to
two
Roche.
ships passing in the night. They might actually just rotate towards the mid lane, look for some kills. Again, this Mirana's been asking for it. She's been real pesty. So Storm Spirit might just be trying to jump in under tower, get that, electric vortex, but Ursa, he's just taking the long
He's
route
outta
here.
here.
All right, he's wrapping around. Smoke is going to expire relatively soon. This double damage Storm Spirit got to be able to find something, but how deep does he want to dive? Axe goes in, but that is not the right time for Axe to jump in. Zip out from the Storm Spirit. Ursa is ferocious here. Crush in from that Slardar. It's not going to catch out there, but they do get the kill on a rise in the back lines. Now Mango gobbled up, Kefka down to full health, full mana, and they can just walk in the Roche pit without goddamn care in the world.
That was like seconds on the timing, eh? Like, the smoke just expired as he blinked on that disruptor in the Ursa, and obviously he would not have blinked in had he seen those two heroes.
Well, let's
Like,
see what's going to
there's
go
no way
down
your
here,
axe
because I don't
goes.
think we're done with the action. Necroman jumping in. They should be able to get the kill on the disruptor. There they go. They got the sound from the gust. Now Ping is going to be in some serious trouble here. They're spraying out Shadow Poison, but this Storm Spirit's fighting till his last breath, kills out the Shadow Demon. And now Kefka in some serious trouble. The turnaround is there. Wisp comes in. It's not going to be enough. They lose the Slardar. Now Garter going down as well. The Ursa does not have his ult for 2 seconds. He has the Aegis now, and the ult will be up, but can he do anything with it? He's got the face mist. He's going to get silenced, though. Oh, God. It looks like it hurts. The poor bear. He's just going to try to TP out. There's only so much Enrage can do, and the Culling Blade swipes right through. That was detrimental to ProDotA. Oh, boy.
Damn. All right. I mean, that looked so good for the Radiant after that play in the mid. Axe makes the comeback. Home getting it done with that next blink and the dunk flying on out. So go for a little bit of an ambitious Roche, perhaps.
Yeah, it seemed
In
like
the end, I suppose they get it.
it was just way too obvious, I think, ProDotA. They got their momentum. They're like, all right, we got this. 2 heroes dead, but it is still 12 minutes in the game. The death timers are not that long.
Yeah, and both towers still up, too. So even with an Ursa, you don't take it that fast this early. Nice call again here. Dead disruptor. Raindrops ain't going to save you.
You can take a Roche that early, but you got to be a little bit cautious. I mean, Radiant just walked into the pit with 3 dire heroes knowing exactly where they are, so they got every opportunity to set up. And I'm actually surprised they killed the Roche as fast as they did. I thought Ursa wasn't even going to get the Aegis there, but either way, Aegis burned. Now a tier 2 tower is down. Question mark. They're not messing around. They're looking just to take this by storm. It's 13 minutes in. They've got a hella farmed Axe right here. He's got almost 1,500 gold on top of his Blink Dagger.
The thing about Dragonlance, too, is that you can do this. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you're so far back.
And now there's going to be more drows in the field, more stats coming in. This tower is going to start to melt. It seems like Radiant, they've got to do something now, and they're smoked up on the back lines. They've got the Wisps coming in, the Spirits.
Oh, this is a great play.
They're going in. Okay. Shadow Demon's dead. Not going to get that self-disrupt, but Kefka going to get culled down again. Ursa, he's now angry. There's going to be a Static Storm in the back lines. Axe finally falls. Necroman going to be going down as well. And they've got the Vision onto Emperor. He's going to walk out of Sentry range, stops to stun, and that's going to be his downfall here. TP out from Arise. He's the lone survivor. So Question Mark had a real nice opportunity to push, but unfortunately overstayed their welcome and lost it all.
Absolutely fantastic. Got, like, holy shit, what a sick play by ProDotA.
Yes. Okay.
Like, you know how a Drow lineup's going to play. You know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go up here. They want to see all 5 heroes up on the high ground, and then they're going to back. Or you're going to glyph, and then they're going to back. So they go for a smoke play. Dire Side think they're protected by Vision, because they had this ward down over here, but with the smoke, perfectly set up in the... Like, oh, God. That was just filthy. Like, downright disgusting.
Yeah, and focusing
I'm
the
so
Axe was
impressed.
super crucial there as well, because Axe was just starting to Culling Blade everyone. So, after they isolated him, he wasn't standing in the Static Storm, but they were still able to get him down, and that was a pretty big bounty. How much did he go down for? I don't know. It was
don't even
probably
know.
over 500. Like,
But
he had a decent
Disruptor's
streak
rich.
going. Yeah, Disruptor's feeling good. He's got himself 700 gold on top of Arcane, so we'll see what he wants to grab up here. I don't think he's going to be going for Mech, because they've already got a Wisp on their team, but anything goes here. Let's see a freaking Aghanims up at like 30 minutes on Disruptor.
Yeah, he can get... there should be a really early Glimmer, which will be dope up against Mirana. Best item, NA. It's good stuff. I'm a big Glimmer fan. Except, was it... I think Glimmer was mega broken the first day. Didn't
It was,
get
because
past
it had
same
like
day?
it had no mana cost at first, right? Or something like that. It was like
Yeah.
absurdly strong. And now
Yeah.
they made it a decent mana cost. Relocate up in the top lane. There's going to be the amp damage vision on the Drow. They've got the spirits. There's going to be an arrow connecting onto Kefka. And then now they're going to have Pink Vinsec jumping in. Necroman, not long for this world. You can fight, but you can't live. Nice disruption coming in, but the crush is going to be connecting onto a Rise. Leap away, but Pink Vinsec is still going in. They've got no mana left onto the Shadow Team. And he now goes in, sprays out that poison with the wand charge. And Pink Vinsec got just a little bit of mana. Is he going to be able to jump away here? The call comes in. The Culling Blade held, but they still get the kill with the Marana Starstorm. Not the kind of gank ProDotA we're looking for.
No, considering they used Relocate and everything. Certainly got to hand that one over to Question Mark. So close to saving the Drow, too. That disruption, it was like coming down in the animation as Drow died. And so MDL having to throw it over on the Storm Spirit instead. At least he now gets up into his own urn, so not really having that sustainable support as you kind of like with your Drow lineup. Instead, he has to be a little bit more healing.
All right, Garter, he's got that affinity for Mask of Madness, clearly. How do you feel about the Ursa mask? It was totally out of favor for a little bit, and now we see it a little bit more often. What's kind of changed around that?
It's all about how you're just reading the game, right? Like, he wasn't super rich, so he couldn't just go naked mask into the Blink Dagger. He was kind of at, like, an awkward middle ground where, like, he knew that they wanted to fight. There was going to be an engagement before Roche, so...
Speaking of fighting, we've got Fish Boy versus Fat Boy here. He's going in hot, but Kefka... I don't think you're really able to drive this one home. Just not enough damage on the Slardar. He doesn't have his Blink Dagger, and I don't think he should get too crazy, because it's a decent amount of money in the bank that could go out if he dies. Oh, they got the Relocate coming in. There's going to be that Disrupt to try to save him, and now Emperor, he's trying here. He's swatting out. Will eventually go down, but Pone, again, coming in, calls down the Wisp, so the Ambulance is dead. And now that's going to be a TP out from Kefka, but that's going to be a nice Culling Blade in. Double kill for the Axe. He's now speedy, and they've got the stun on Pink Vinsec as well. Garter comes in, and now there is going to be a runaway from Pone trying to deal with this Satic Storm, but Garter's moving forward. One more swat should kill off the Shadow Demon. What is this fight? It's just a bloodbath.
Axe versus Ursa, and I think Ursa's about to come out on top.
Oh,
he's out.
He's out.
Close one. Whew. Okay, so Dragonlance now finished off into our Hurricane Pike for the Drow. Getting a little bit more survivable this game. But for the most part, it's just like again, it's kind of like a battle of Pone versus these IO relocates. So far, so good. I mean, big calls coming out on top. But the Radiant side, they have now brought this back from about a 2 and a bit advantage, now down to just 0. So it's all even Stevens. Roche is back up, or at least we'll know the time in about 1 minute and 40 seconds. We'll start fighting around that. Start farming to our other items. Garter's almost up to an Aghanim Scepter. And they don't want to be too crazy. Like, who can really help? They need Blink on Slardar is the most important thing right now. Because once that's up, that's how they can start farming up Pingvin and actually get him into more Bloodstone charges. I don't think they really want to fight right now despite having it.
Dire scans, and they're going to see that there's something going on in these trees, and there's enough Dire heroes that they can just get in there and clip them down. I mean, this Axe has 7 kills to his name. He's now got the full Vanguard, going to be moving in towards what I assume to be a Blade Mail. That's going to hurt. Now, I mean, Emperor just can't stop disconnecting, but hopefully he sorts it out, because we are about to get into the heart of the action here.
Yeah, Kefka's just like got this poster of Pone on his wall, and he's like, man, I wish I was an offlaner like that. That's what he wants to be in this game, you know? And that's just what Axe does. He just gets so farmed, and it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, Kefka God, fantastic player, but Slider's a much harder hero to catch up on. Like,
Absolutely.
you don't have this these spins or anything like that, so just sort of the nature of it. Haven't really gotten those big snowballing fights. He's been focused down pretty heavily, pretty squishy target in general. So getting up with that Blink Dagger is just, you can see the priority his team is giving him too, right? Like Pingvin just like walking past camps, allowing the Slider to farm them, leaving him this lane too. They understand that it's the most important thing right now. And he's the one that's going to actually accelerate Pingvin check into these bigger Bloodstone charges and potentially right into the win, because for now, the only saving grace they have is Disruption on top of the Drow, right? Other than that, Axe has the save call for the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, Storm Spirit's doing all right here. He's still got 12 charges in the Bloodstone, so it's not like he's fallen out. He's got 5 kills to his name, which is great, but it seems like ProDotA are getting really ambitious with this relocate ganks and not giving Question Mark enough credit to actually rotate, take out the IO, and deal with these fights.
There's our go call now.
Alright, so moving forward. Again, the scan did reveal that these buddies are hiding in the trees, or at least someone is. So The lane's going to be pushing in, and Necroman not stopping, got the Gust available, so we'll see how deep he's going to be going in for that, because Garter is still a pretty ferocious core. Now, I like the choice to leave the Drow and the Axe uninvisible, and everyone else is smoked up, but they're just going to move straight towards that mid lane. So now it's just going to be Drow versus the world. I mean, she's got to know that someone's sitting there, but does she know it's an Ursa? Well, that's real spooky. Everyone else rotating in. They come up from the bottom, and now Garter just TPing home, wants nothing to do with this. Now they're looking for the kill onto our Disruptor here. Can they cancel
that was
it?
So close.
The call radius was just too small.
Well, I guess this should end up being a free one, though. So no punishment, no blood.
Oh, Crush coming back in. Yeah, there's the
will be
punishment. That's going to be a nice kill on the Mirana here, but now Necroman might get focused down. The Zip comes in onto our little Slardar here, but all right, what's going down here? Shadow Demon, he's spraying out poison, but the Crush connects onto 2. Unfortunately, Necroman not going to be caught down by that Static Storm. Going to get himself 4 staffed away from that. He's got the amp damage on him, but that negative armor doesn't do anything for his raw damage, which is now flying off the charts. He did very, very well there. Triple kill. Killed 3 of the most tanky heroes on ProDotA. Now they're just going to let the creep wave push in. They got the tower. They got blood. They got exactly what they want, and the Roche is back up. If they deny that to the Ursa, that could be huge.
Yeah, it really could be. Shadowblade now done as well for Necroman too after that triple kill. He's extremely far. So did they like see someone TP or something? I don't know. I didn't think the rate were gonna go, but I guess when you have Disruptor and Slardar and all that chase potential, yeah, you're like part of your lineup is so balanced and based around being able to chase down like post engagement or like post tower push and stuff that you kind of feel forced into going for that. I think that the Static Storm, if I'm not mistaken, just because of the way like Beaver was up here, right, in the trees, and then the call missed, so he'd like TP back home and run. You can imagine that if he was actually in some sort of a sneakier position in the backline, they would have just won that fight automatically. And maybe that's why they still felt pressured to still try and take it. Not able to get off like the best Static Storm of his life though. He doesn't have like a partner to really pair up with unless he's right there when the Slardar blinks in and crushes.
Alright, so Dire positioned up around the Roche pit. Looks like they're going to initiate on it, but again, Radiant know exactly what's going down. They bring in their Slardar. He's just going to be sitting outside the pit. So now Dire knows that Radiant knows. Blink in. They get a double man crush here. Now Garter comes in, just destroying this Miranda. They're going to get that Shadow Demon Disrupt off, and Arise is still alive, able to leap potentially back up to the high ground. Oh god, no, she did. Alright, they're going to be able to secure a double kill here as they kill off the Drow. So the 2 most important targets are down. Axe goes in, gets a call. He's Moonlight Shadowed. Can they actually keep up here? Oh, yeah, perfect amount of damage there brought out by the Storm Spirit. So triple kill from King Vinchek. They're going for more here. 4 heroes dead. The lone survivor is the Shadow Demon. And that's a nice, easy Aegis. Fed the way of Garter. It seems like Question Mark, they take these huge steps forward. And they have these amazing fights, and then they just dive off a cliff.
Kefka has evolved. Yeah, he'll probably start like sprouting legs or something soon. That was pretty god tier crush, you know. He's no longer a fish, he's a man.
The blink double crush into the pit was just phenomenal here.
And this is the reason you see this like Storm Spirit Ursa be picked up too. Because with only a Shadow Demon, you saw exactly what happened. The Ursa jumps right on top of the Mirana. She's almost died. She gets disrupted. It's like, okay. Like what? She's going to try and leap out. She gets 1 shot dead. And once that's gone, there's nothing left. Like total free reign for Pigmentcheck. He's just running through a high ground, low ground, jumping on top of the Drow Ranger. She has no one to help her, no one to save her. Hurricane Pike won't be enough. Invisibility not going to help you either. And now with this Orchid, 11 charges on the Bloodstone. This is their time to shine right now for ProDotA. Not only do they have, I would perceive, like better late game, because obviously Storm Spirit kind of scales infinitely in a lot of ways.
Oh, Ursa Axe.
This is like their best timing right now. Yeah, exactly. Like everything's up for them.
This feels real good. They should be able to take down this tower easily. The Fortify was already used in that mid lane, so they've got really nothing else of value here. It looks like Dire, they're like, all right, we got to give up tier 2s. We cannot take a fight. Clearly, Storm Spirit can style on us. Let's try tier 3s. And it seems like Radiant, they're privy to that. They bring back Kefka, and we've seen this guy can crush, but can he stand up to 5 Dire heroes? Oh gosh, I don't know. Drow Shadow Bladed and the arrow. Unfortunately, not going to be deep enough to catch onto the Fish Boy, but there is still going to be some decent push. Again, Necroman with Hurricane Pike means he can just sit back and farm from the low ground, but Question Mark not going to push this. They're not going to overstay their welcome. Maybe they learned their lesson the last time, but it seems like everyone just TPing back to respond to the other team.
Yeah, for now, just gaining some vision. Probably going to see a Radiant smoke soon, I would imagine. Try and make use of this Aegis. get ourselves a pick off. And,
Oh,
it's going to be the
Moonlight
Dire.
Shadow. Can they actually get the silence off on the Storm Spirit in time? He's having some fun just juking through the woods, but he's now surrounded on all sides.
Oh, he knows.
What is happening? Somehow Pigment Check is not punished for this. Necroman, they're going to have that Moonlight Shadow rocking. A couple heroes stuck in that Static Storm, but for now there's going to be a relocate in. They bring Garter through. There's going to be a pull. Necroman will go down. Nice kill there for the Storm Spirit, and it seems like things are still going well for ProDotA. They're going to get the kill on Arise. That means there's only 2 heroes left on the side of question mark Garter. He's moving forward. He's moving fast. Can they actually get the catch up onto Ara? Oh, just a little bit too late onto the Shadow Demon. But either way, Ogre, he's trying something. He's hasted up. He's waddling towards that bot
going,
lane.
man.
He's
Get
split
that
push
goal.
Ogre, dude. All right, he's going to get pinged out by his team. Unfortunately, his team will lose this tier 2. Again, no Fortify left in stock. They've got to wait for that backdoor protection to head down. And there we go. The creeps moving forward means that Ursa should just slap this away in no time.
So they put on the push. They force all the heroes back to the base, hence why they stop pushing. They gain some vision. But then going in for like a Moonlight Shadow play into an Aegis Storm Spirit draft, right next, like look how close he was to a tower. That's such a dangerous play to attempt. I mean, Disruptor was instantly there, comes down, throws out that Static Storm. I'm not too sure about that one. I think it was a pretty bad play call from the side of question mark.
Yep. Living up to their name there, but overall net worth is now going to be spiraling in favor of ProDotA. It looked real back and forth. It looked real up and down, but that's because it didn't deviate more than 2,000 either way. But here we go, almost 10,000 in favor of ProDotA, and the overall XP going to be moving towards 14,000. In terms of levels, that's going to look pretty severe. You've got your Storm Spirit already with his level 3 ulti Garter not too far off as well, and you've still got your Shadow Demon sitting on his level 1 ulti. Zip forward from our Storm Spirit, just keeping everyone at bay. Clearly Shadow Demon does not want to tangle with him. He's got his Bloodstone just stalking right up, now up to 14 charges. And he's got enough gold to maybe move towards this next item. He picked up that Mystic Staff, so are we going to see a Sheep Stick out from him?
Yeah, imagine so. I think it's like that Drow who already has nothing. He already has the Orchid going.
All right, speaking of Drow, Necroman
Oh, actually, it is
versus the
definitely
world.
a Shiva's game.
All
There's
right,
no
all right. There's
question.
going to be a TP in. Necroman going to get punished here. Pops into that Hurricane Pike, but even the Moonlight Shadow cannot save this Drow Ranger who was pushed past the river. There were sentry wards around, but there was no observer vision aside from this one ward deep into the Radiant Jungle. Questionable play from the question marks.
Yeah, this is actually like the best Shiva's Guard game ever, so I assume this will be Shiva's Guard. Like up against this Drow strat, the only magic damage is the Mirana and the Ogre.
It is a Sheep's Guard. He's picked up the
That
recipe.
is going to be so good.
All right, well, he's moving forward here, about to fill up his Bloodstone a little bit more. There's going to be a Disrupt trying to buy some time for Emperor. I mean, he may be tanky, but he cannot live through this.
Oh
Look
God,
at Storm Spirit.
Penguin.
He's just having some
He
fun
literally
with this.
can't turn in time.
Oh my gosh, now Axe is going to be going in. It's a nice call. King might end up dying here. Of course, he's got the Bloodstone suicide if things get rough. He's just going in and out. His mana is an issue, but oh my god, the good game comes out. That was phenomenally played by ProDotA, question mark. They got close enough to taste that sweet victory down bottom, but they could not finish it out. ProDotA take game number 2 very quickly. Wow.
They seriously won that game with that smoke play. Like, that
Wow.
secured them an early game victory. That was so sick. I am very
Wow,
impressed.
Okay, all right.
That was some dope Dota.
Let's take a look at
Like
this.
after game 1, which was pretty, everyone was kind of whiffing some spells, things were happening. That was some impressive stuff. Honestly, from both teams, I think question mark they felt pressured to make some sort of a YOLO play, and that's why they did this whole thing on the Storm and everything. And yeah, it didn't work out, but sometimes you got to take risks. Just not paying off this time, and ProDotA just responding accordingly in every situation.
All right, so looking at the overall scoreboard here, Kefka had a tough time. He had a lot of assists here, but no kills for himself, 5 deaths. So even though ProDotA tied it out well, I think Kefka's Slardar might need a bit tuning up. His Vengeful Spirit was phenomenal, but again, like you mentioned, Slardar is just so tricky to come back from if you have that rough start, whereas Axe, I mean, if he starts strong, he can usually finish strong, but unfortunately the rest of his team not able to do so. So ProDotA looking like they just woke up from a long sleep after game number 1. And of course, that will leave this series at a 1-1 tie. So each team scoring a point for themselves. These are group stages, so just buying out some points to seed yourselves nicely into the playoff bracket for the Royal Arena. Motpax and I are going to have a very brief break here. And next up, we are going to see ProDotA versus Friends in another best of 2 series. Again, Android, joined by Motpax. You're on moonducktv, so sit tight and wait for series number 2 up in just a couple of minutes.